Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, German, ad.elf. Listen, April 20, 1889, April 30, 1945, was an Austrian-born German politician who was the dictator of Germany from 1933 until his death in 1945. He rose to power as the leader of the Nazi Party, becoming the Chancellor in 1933 and then assuming the title of Führer und Reichskanzler in 1934. During his dictatorship, he initiated World War II in Europe by invading Poland on September 1, 1939. He was closely involved in military operations throughout the war and was central to the perpetration of the Holocaust, the genocide of about 6 million Jews and millions of other victims. Adolf Hitler. Official portrait, 1938 Führer of Germany in office August 2, 1934, April 30, 1945 preceded by Paul von Hindenburg, President, succeeded by Karl Dönitz, President, Chancellor of Germany in office January 30, 1933, April 30, 1945 President Paul von Hindenburg, 1933 to 1934, Vice-Chancellor Franz von Papen, 1933 to 1934, preceded by Kurt von Schleicher succeeded by Joseph Goebbels Führer of the Nazi Party in office July 29, 1921 April 30, 1945 Deputy Rudolf Hess, 1933 to 1941, preceded by Anton Drexler, Party Chairman, succeeded by Martin Bormann, Party Minister, Oberbefehlshaber of the German Army in office December 19, 1941, April 30, 1945 preceded by Walter von Brauchitsch succeeded by Ferdinand Schörner Reichstagshalter of Prussia in office January 30, 1933, January 30, 1935 preceded by Franz von Papen, Reichskommissar, succeeded by Hermann Göring. Born April 20, 1889 Braunau am Inn, Austro-Hungary, now Austria, died April 30, 1945, aged 56, Berlin, Nazi Germany cause of death suicide by gunshot citizenship Austrian, 1889 to 1925, stateless, 1925 to 1932, German, 1932 to 1945, political party Nazi Party, 1921 to 1945, other political affiliations German Workers' Party, 1919 to 1920, spouses Eva Braun M. 1945 Parents Alois Hitler Clara Paulsel Cabinet Hitler Cabinet Signature of Adolf Hitler Military Service Allegiance German Empire Weimar Republic Branch Imperial German Army Bavarian Army Reichswehr Years of Service 1914 to 1920 Ringkampfreiter Unit 16th Bavarian Reserve Regiment. Hitler was born in Austria-Hungary and was raised near Linz. He lived in Vienna later in the first decade of the 1900s and moved to Germany in 1913. He was decorated during his service in the German Army in World War I. In 1919, he joined the German Workers' Party, DAP, the precursor of the Nazi Party, and was appointed leader of the Nazi Party in 1921. In 1923, he attempted to seize governmental power in a failed coup in Munich and was imprisoned with a sentence of 5 years. In jail, he dictated the first volume of his autobiography and political manifesto Mein Kampf, My Struggle. After his early release in 1924, Hitler gained popular support by attacking the Treaty of Versailles and promoting pan-Germanism, anti-Semitism and anti-communism with charismatic oratory and Nazi propaganda. He frequently denounced international capitalism and communism as part of a Jewish conspiracy. By November 1932, the Nazi Party held the most seats in the German Reichstag, but did not have a majority. As a result, no party was able to form a majority parliamentary coalition in support of a candidate for chancellor. Former Chancellor Franz von Papen and other conservative leaders persuaded President Paul von Hindenburg to appoint Hitler as chancellor on January 30, 1933. Shortly after, the Reichstag passed the Enabling Act of 1933 which began the process of transforming the Weimar Republic into Nazi Germany, a one-party dictatorship based on the totalitarian and autocratic ideology of Nazism. Hitler aimed to eliminate Jews from Germany and establish a new order to counter what he saw as the injustice of the post-World War I international order dominated by Britain and France. His first 6 years in power resulted in rapid economic recovery from the Great Depression, the abrogation of restrictions imposed on Germany after World War I, and the annexation of territories inhabited by millions of ethnic Germans, which gave him significant popular support. Hitler sought Lebensraum, lit. Living space, for the German people in Eastern Europe, and his aggressive foreign policy is considered the primary cause of World War II in Europe. He directed large-scale rearmament and, on September 1, 1939, invaded Poland, resulting in Britain and France declaring war on Germany. In June 1941, Hitler ordered an invasion of the Soviet Union. By the end of 1941, German forces and the European Axis powers occupied most of Europe and North Africa. These gains were gradually reversed after 1941, and in 1945 the Allied armies defeated the German army. On April 29, 1945, he married his longtime lover, Eva Braun, in the Führerbunker in Berlin. Less than 2 days later, the couple committed suicide to avoid capture by the Soviet Red Army. Their corpses were burned. Historian and biographer Ian Kershaw describes Hitler as the embodiment of modern political evil. For, under Hitler's leadership and racially motivated ideology, the Nazi regime was responsible for the genocide of about 6 million Jews and millions of other victims, whom he and his followers deemed untermenschen, subhumans, or socially undesirable. Hitler and the Nazi regime were also responsible for the killing of an estimated 19.3 million civilians and prisoners of war. In addition, 28.7 million soldiers and civilians died as a result of military action in the European theater. The number of civilians killed during World War II was unprecedented in warfare, and the casualties constitute the deadliest conflict in history. February 1938, on the advice of his newly appointed foreign minister, the strongly pro-Japanese Joachim von Ribbentrop, Hitler ended the Sino-German alliance with the Republic of China to instead enter into an alliance with the more modern and powerful Empire of Japan. Hitler announced German recognition of Manchukuo, the Japanese-occupied state in Manchuria, and renounced German claims to their former colonies in the Pacific held by Japan. 218, Hitler ordered an end to arms shipments to China and recalled all German officers working with the Chinese army. 218, in retaliation, Chinese General Chiang Kai-shek cancelled all Sino-German economic agreements, depriving the Germans of many Chinese raw materials. 219,